Hello everybody. Today is a solid go session. We're doing upper body mixed with core. It's gonna be exactly 23 minutes long. You have 4 sets to get through, and every set is 5 different exercises. Each exercise is gonna be within a minute. So remember, every minute you're only doing 1 movement. And then at the very end of your set, you're gonna get a minute of rest. All you need is 1 weight, a dumbbell or kettlebell, doesn't matter. Let's get rolling. First up is a dumbbell snatch. You're gonna do 6 each side. So we're gonna hinge back, grab our dumbbell, push with our legs, punch to the ceiling. And I'm gonna do on this set, all 6 on one side before I switch arms. I'm keeping my back nice and flat, and I'm pushing with my legs until I get to this position here with the dumbbell, and then I'm using my arms. Once you've done 6 and 6, if you have a little bit lighter weight, you can always do a little bit more reps, but don't overdo it for this first set because we have a lot of work to do. You're gonna rest with the remaining time. And then in 15 seconds on the next beep, we're gonna hold a hollow hold, and I'm gonna go through that as we go. Get ready. Okay, so we're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Option 1 is you're tucking in both knees and just hanging out. We want our upper back off the ground, but my lower back's pushed into the floor. If this feels good, you can stretch out one leg nice and tight. If that feels okay, both legs, but we want our lower back on the ground. You don't wanna be arched. So if you can, you're hanging out both legs as tight as you can. We're gonna hold. 5 more seconds to go. And break. Each of these movements, we kind of want around 20 to 30 seconds of rest as we go through them. So you don't really want to be getting right up to that minute mark. You really want to push it. You can, but that would be a long time to hold the core for. Next up, we have our renegade rows. So in 5 seconds, we're gonna get into a plank and we're gonna row with one arm. Same thing, 6 each arm. So I'm gonna get in a nice tight plank. Okay? The wider your feet are, the more stable base. And then we're gonna pull back. So I'm trying to squeeze my shoulder blade back, not too fast. So nice, steady pace. What I don't wanna see is twisting with your body to get the dumbbell up. So we hold and I row using only my back, shoulder blade pulled back, and my arm. And then after 6, you're gonna switch directly to 6 on the other side. And this side, for me, is harder. So I'm gonna really fight to keep my hips in the same line. Yeah, and that's tough. Hard on your obliques, so you're really trying not to let your torso twist. Next up, we are back to core. So you're spending a lot of time on the ground with single leg V-ups in 3 seconds. Okay. So these ones I'm gonna stretch out and then reach up towards my toe. 12 reps. And if you need to, you can bend your knee and tuck in, but we're really trying to stretch up. And again, you don't have to do everything unbroken. So that means you don't have to do 12 in a row. Do a couple reps, you can drop down, rest, and then do a couple more because you do have the full minute to complete your work. The next movement on the next minute is gonna be our wall walk. And we've done this in a previous video. So I'm gonna link how to do a wall walk in the notes of this video. So you can go have a look, pause this video, go have a look how to do a wall walk, jump back in. But anywhere from 1 to 3 reps. And I'm trying to get as tight as I can at the top. Whew. Nice and controlled to the ground. And I did those really fast. So I have 30 seconds of rest, and then we have another minute break afterwards. So especially as we go through these rounds, you have 3 more rounds, take your time. So you can rest at the bottom of every wall walk, and maybe all you're working on is getting into plank, walking your feet up the wall, getting in a nice tight handstand for a second, and then walking back down. That's totally fine. Okay, we get a whole minute off, and then we're starting again with our dumbbell snatch. But team, take the full minute, reset, grab a drink of water, and we're gonna go again, because you do have a lot more work to do. We have 3 more rounds to go. My heart rate's up a little bit, so I'm gonna try and calm it down before I do these. And for all these movements, depending on the weight, say you only have a really light weight, again, you can slow down the dumbbell snatch, make it a little bit harder. It is a little bit of an explosive movement, so it's hard to slow down. But if you do have really light weight, slow it down so you get some tempo, or you can add a little bit more reps. Maybe do 8 and 8. If you have a heavy dumbbell and you're struggling to get 6 and 6, do like 4 and 4, even 3 and 3, and then rest, wherever you're at. So let's get ready to go. So I'm hinging, pushing with my legs, locking my arm out on top. And it's almost like by the time you finish moving and the dumbbell's overhead, you want your arm to be locked out. We don't want to get to here and then have to push it up a little bit slow. So fast movement with your arm. And when I say if you have light weight, slow it down, I mean in here. So we slow it down to here, and maybe you're moving at like a tempo to the floor, okay, just to get a little bit more tension. But you do have to move fast on the way up. Once we're done 6 and 6, into our hollow hold. That is coming up in 10 seconds. 3, 2, let's get ready. Hold. Team, you're fighting to basically think of expanding into your core. So I'm pushing out into my ribs, but I'm also squeezing. Does that make sense? What we don't want is to let our stomach go. We call this doming, where your core is kind of relaxed. Everything needs to be squeezed and tucked and then pushed into as hard as you can. Almost there. And break. 30-second rest, and then we're gonna go into our 6 and 6 renegade rows on the floor. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stay down here, so I'm not moving up and down too much. Even hopefully you have an appropriate weight for these. I mean, if you don't have any weight, or if your weight's just too heavy for this, you can also do plank shoulder taps. But if you do have a weight where you can do this properly, we're getting nice and tight, 6 reps per side. And I'm trying not to move too fast. These ones can be a tendency just to get them done, but try and really squeeze your back, push with your shoulder blade. Okay, keep everything under control. And we want to hold that plank a little bit longer as well. In a little bit, we're gonna go into our single leg V-ups. And this is hard because you're going back to back core. Renegade rows are core. Now you're doing single leg V-ups. And our single leg V-up, you're trying to get your lower back, so your torso off the ground, and stretch up. And I don't have perfect flexibility, so my legs aren't straight, but we're trying. Lost count. I'm gonna do 2 more just in case. Whew. That's definitely tough in your core. But we get a little bit of a rest, and then we're going back to our wall walks. And if you are a pro at wall walks, hey, you can do a little bit more than 3 if you want. Maybe you're doing 4, 5 will be a lot of wall walks. Because again, remember, you do have the minute of rest after this. If you're still just working on wall walks and you're doing 1 in the minute, that's awesome too. But whatever number of reps you're doing, make sure you're going hips up, feet go up, they get together, you're in a straight line, and then you move your hands. So we're trying to get as tight as we can through our whole body before we actually walk. Okay, 15 seconds. Keep going if you're still doing those wall walks. Squeeze your core, hold as tight as you can. And then we get a minute break. Okay, let's rest. A really good way to think of wall walks. We want the same position in our hollow hold on the ground. Okay, where we're like super tight. We want that as we're walking up the wall. So I'm thinking about at the very top of my handstand, being in a nice straight line where my shoulders are fully open and I'm connected to my hips. Sometimes if we walk and we leave our hips up behind us and we break here, it's hard to get in a good position when you're upside down, but this is a lot harder over time than here. But once you're used to doing it like the loose way, where we walk up the wall with our butt sticking out, when you tuck and walk, it's gonna feel harder, but you're gonna get way more efficient later on. So take a step back, get super tight, okay, make it a little bit more difficult, and it'll get easier the more you practice. But set 3 coming up. So into our dumbbell snatch.
The door is open, I could walk right in. Ooh, but it's so much harder than it sounds. I know it's closing if I just stand still.
Done a lot of shoulder work. So really push down through the ground with your feet. Try and get your lower body to do most of the work here. And we break. And again, take your time with these. I'm kind of motoring through them because this is a fairly moderate weight for me to get these done. But if you have a little bit more challenging weight, do 3, put it down, rest, do 3 more, switch sides. So take breaks whenever you need to. We're gonna head back to our hollow hold. And this time I want you to think about this position when you do your handstand. So let's tuck, hips under us, hold. And if you're getting tired, you can tuck in one knee, but your position stays the same where you're nice and lengthened. If your feet are too low and you're arching your back, you can lift this leg up a little higher. Okay, you end up closing your hip a little bit, but it'll push your core down and reset it versus being too low and stretched out where we're arching our back. So tuck, hold. Oh, we've reached 30 seconds. So we're gonna break. And then we're getting ready to go into our renegade rows next. Six and 6, we're gonna control our row back. So think about our shoulders here when we rolled it forwards. We're pulling it into the center of our back to do our rows. In a super tight plank. And if you need a break, but you wanna stay in plank, you can always put your dumbbell on the ground and just rest with both hands down. That's a good way of doing it too. My core is getting a really good workout here. 20-second break. If you're still moving, keep going, nice and steady. But again, you do want somewhere at least 20 seconds, except for maybe on those wall walks, you can push it to the end because you get the rest after. But you want 20 seconds-ish, a minute. Okay, let's get ready for our single leg V-ups. On this last set, I'm probably gonna have to break those up. It's getting hard for my core. Doing excellent work. We're almost through our third round. We're gonna head into our wall walks once you're done your single leg V-ups. Really nice job, team. Killing it. And if you need longer rest, feel free to pause the video. I know I always say that, but take your time. Make sure you have adequate rest before you keep going. Okay, let's do it. Straight line with our body, squeezing my butt, tightening my legs, and then my toes kind of just help me up the wall, but I'm trying to keep my body in a straight line. So I'm thinking about that hollow body position here. Pushing through the ground with my hands. You can rest at the bottom. And then we break. We're heading into our very last set, coming up pretty soon. Whew, my core, I can feel it in my core, I feel it in my shoulders. Okay, we're almost there. Very last set. And if you're short on time, I love these like 1 minute. You pick a set of exercises, you get it done. We're focusing on upper body today, but you can mix and match. Put an upper body movement, 1 minute, lower body movement the next minute, so you get a little bit of a rest for your muscle groups. You just keep moving. I've added this rest at the end just because we did so much. We're doing a ton of core back to back to back and shoulders. I'd like to give you a little bit of time just to recover, so you have a quality set when you move into it again. 10 seconds. Very last round coming up. So hang on to your form. Hey, stay really tight. And team, I forgot to mention, I'm touching both heads of the dumbbell to the ground, okay? But you can also just touch one head and then press it up, especially if you don't wanna move this low. Your back's rounding when you get this low, okay? Flatten it, don't go down all the way. Maybe you're even just going to your knees and then pressing up, that's fine as well. So we only add range when we have a nice position to get there. You do wanna push it a little bit, but not to the point, especially with something like a hinge where you're hinging at the hip. You never wanna go where your back's round. Okay, last set of hollow holds. This time, I'm gonna try and hold for 40 seconds because it's our very last one. Again, don't be afraid. If you start feeling it too much in your hip flexors or in your lower back, tuck in one knee because it pushes your core down. kind of also tucks your hips in the right position. And we want from the bottom of our shoulder blades to our glutes, pushing into the floor. And halfway, if you're doing 40 seconds with me. Almost there, 7 seconds. And rest. We get that 20-second break now because we did 40 seconds. We're gonna head into our renegade rows. Last set of these coming up. Fight super hard to not let your body rock. One side will be a little bit easier than the other, that's normal. Because no one is perfectly symmetrical, but we want to get the asymmetries within a close range of each other, which is why I love doing a lot of single leg, single arm work, where you can't cheat by using more than one side of your body. Renegade rows, single arm. You still get away with using one side a little bit more, but we're trying really hard to fight that. Okay, moving in to our single leg V-ups. 12 total, or whatever number you're doing. And single leg V-ups, if you start feeling it in your lower back, take a ton of breaks in between reps, maybe do like 2 at a time. If you still feel it in your lower back, then you would stay, really good option, you would stay just pushed into the ground and do like a bicycle crunch or something where you don't have to lift your whole torso off the floor. Team, let's get ready. Last set of wall walks. I'm gonna focus on being as tight as I can. Okay, and in our handstand, we want to think about pushing the ground away from us. So handstand is kind of one of the movements where we want to shrug our shoulders. So in this position, I'm shrugging my shoulders to my ears and pushing the ground away from me. Keep working. You have 15 seconds. Nice and steady, go at your own pace. You have 5 seconds left. You're still working on that handstand. And done. That was awesome. Thank you for joining me for 4 rounds. I'm gonna give my core and my shoulders a little bit of a break. If you wanna do more core, feel free to add one of our 10-minute core workouts on after this, but I'll see everyone for the next one.